Welcome to my home. If you're new here, my name is Karen, and today I'm showing you all the things: cleaning, getting ready to go to my Bible study, cooking, working out in the yard. We're going to do a little bit of everything. So I hope this gives you some motivation, inspiration for tackling your own to-do list. Every time I'm going somewhere, what I like to do is I like to get ready first and then kind of buzz around the house and see what I can get done. There are always dishes to do. I am just so tired at night. I really don't even care by that time. I kind of fizzle at 4 o'clock. So whenever I make dinner, it's a little bit of the end of the marathon. I'm showing you that room spray. I've been enjoying it. It's a rosewater room spray that actually Yvonne got it for me at Target, and it's $5 a bottle. I have that one, and I also have a lavender one. That was our cat Woozy. He fully trusts Leo to keep an eye on me, so he's napping, oblivious to anything I might be doing. So things are looking a lot better. I was just showing you my little book I like to look at night. It's a Maine almanac gardening book. And I like it because it's written in kind of like a diary form where the author is sharing what she does in her garden. It's more like I'm sitting with her instead of reading an informational book, and I really like that. So here's my mess from yesterday. I'm just going to get it cleaned up as quickly as possible. But I know, it just knowing that I'm going to come home and that will be done does cheer me up. I will say, though, it little backfired just a little bit because I filled the dishwasher, started it, and then there was really no one who emptied it. And so then the dishes from breakfast and lunch end up in the sink. I used to be so good, but it was when my kids were younger and they were always home, and they would do the supper dishes, get the dishwasher going, and then in the morning I would empty the dishwasher. Did you see that there was a bug on the cabinet door? I saw that when I was editing. Anyway, so then in the morning I just had to empty it, and then anybody who was getting up could put their breakfast and lunch dishes in there. I feel like I'll get back there. I'm just not there now, and it has to be okay, or I'm just going to spend every day being upset with myself, which that doesn't do anybody any good. There wasn't a ton to go in the dishwasher. I almost feel like the problem started the day before where the dishwasher was too full for the supper dishes. I think I remember that correctly. So there's a lot that needs to be hand washed here. My mixer can go, well, the blender rather, can go in the dishwasher, but I have found that they wear out quicker if you put them in the dishwasher. The same with my food processor. So I don't do that anymore. I just hand wash and call it good. This was a Vitamix. It was a lower end Vitamix that I got on Amazon, but a Vitamix all the same. So more than I would normally spend on, say, a Ninja blender. I had a Ninja blender before this one, and I didn't feel like it lasted a whole ton of time. And the girls at the time were really wanting to make smoothies, and it didn't get things quite smooth enough. But the Vitamix, I mean, that thing just obliterates if you want it to. I'm watering my little roses there. That's actually for my steamer, that little thing, and I find it's perfect for watering houseplants. Oftentimes, I will put something in my ears and listen to, say, a podcast, which I believe I was doing in this case. And that makes me kind of quiet. I'm not going to be talking to the camera if I'm listening to something, but sometimes I just have to listen to something to get me through it. I've got a lot of boxes and such around the trash can that need to be cleaned up. Also, I had run out of dishwasher pods, so I had to go to the store. I was so excited when you guys watched my last kind of like meal plan, grocery list, because I had such a short grocery list. And every time it feels like I do that, then a day later, people start telling me of all the things I should have bought that I did not buy. And one of those was dishwasher tabs. I'm also using the end of my all-purpose cleaner. What I usually do is when it gets to the end and it's just not squirting very well, I'll just dump it. I'll dump it wherever I need to clean. And that works out just fine. I'm using the Mrs. Meyer's green grass, which is my favorite scent. It makes me so happy. And I'm kind of excited to be done with the green grass, though, because I also got, I think it's called tomato vine, which I also like. It's just earthy enough without being too earthy. And now I am adding Tums to some warm water to feed my plants so that they can have some magnesium, because one of you smart people told me that my blossom end rot on my tomatoes was because of a lack of magnesium. And ever since I've been doing this online, it says to do it 2 or 3 times a week. So I probably at the most do it 2. I think it's been a good week. I have found ever since I'm doing this, I haven't had any tomatoes that have blossom end rot. So I appreciate all the great advice I get here. And now I am cleaning off the island. I think I'm using rainwater as a scent because it's half used and I hadn't started the tomato vine yet. And I warned my husband, please do not get rid of this strange looking water because it is for my tomato plants. Don't get rid of this. I got Tums soaking in this to go in the plants. Oh. Now I'm getting my water bottle ready to go, and it is a Stanley cup. Let me tell you the pros and cons of a Stanley cup. Pro, it stays cold forever. I had water from the day before I had done at lunchtime, and the next morning I still had ice in it. Now, granted, I put a lot of ice in it, but there was still ice in it. The con is if that thing falls over, water is pouring out. So that is a definite con, and it's super hard to open because it's sealed.
This goes together like this. You see how what they did was they put different types of peppers, facts, like the ones I had yesterday, Cubanelle. Those are mellow, poblano, sweet, sharp, floral, fruity, tropical. Made that dish.
I had some extra time left before I had to leave. I usually leave at about 9 o'clock in the morning. So I decided to go ahead and do the Tums water in my tomato plants. I also end up later, I don't think it's right here, but I do my pepper plants. So I spread it around a little bit more because when I got done putting it in the tomato plants, I realized it hadn't completely dissolved on the bottom, so I just added more water, and I'll do it next time. I am watering the plants I'm most concerned about because I don't have time to do all of the watering. And then even later, I do the front plants, but I tend to forget my lemongrass because it's over by the hammock in the very front yard, as well as the fern by the bench and my daughter's garden. So that didn't get done yesterday at all, or when I was filming this. I'll need to make sure I get that done today. It's time to harvest some rhubarb. Oh, time to harvest all the stuff here. Chive, the oregano's going crazy. It's about to go to seed. My basil came back. I need to weed. So many things. Hyssop's doing great. Roses are starting to bud again. Mint is going crazy, as mint does. To Bible study. I just got in my car and there was a yellow jacket in there. Here, luckily it went right out the window for me. I wanted to just show you how I do my Bible study. It might help somebody because we do like question and answer. So each day we have 6 days of homework. So I do highlight around that, and then I do questions, answers in different colors. Not only is it pretty, aesthetically pleasing, but it gives me some visual discrepancies so that I can clearly see where the questions and answers are. So just thought I would show that to you. I know some of you like to see that kind of stuff. This was a journal that my girlfriend gave me. So yeah, heading out. 35-minute drive. And then I might just pop into Old Navy after, since it's right out there, because I am supposed to be going to the beach with a friend and on Monday, and today is Wednesday. I have nothing to wear. Nothing. So I want a sundress just in case. I mean, I might wear a sundress. I have a bathing suit that's like biker shorts type shorts, and then a swim shirt. I can show that to you another time. But anyway, I might wear a dress over it like that, and then if I want to swim, I can take the dress off. If I don't want to swim, at least I'm wearing a sundress. It'll be a lake beach, so no big deal. Anyways, I'm looking forward to meeting with my friend Colleen for Bible study. I'm happy that I got the morning set off. Robin was looking at recipes. He's like, what can I make next? I'm like, you got anything low carb? And he's looking through all the recipes he's wanted to make that he collected. He's like, actually, no. One salad that I know you wouldn't like. So we'll see how that goes. What I like to do is pop in a chatty video as I drive. So Jody Dunn is perfect for that. I'm going to pop her in because she doesn't usually do any music at all. She just totally chats through the whole thing. So I can listen to her like a podcast, and she keeps me company as I drive. So it's like a 35-minute drive. Her videos are usually at least that long. So she works out perfectly for this. Once I got home, I decided that I really wanted to be productive. I had gone to actually Kohl's instead of Old Navy. I'll tell you why in just a minute once I tell you what I'm doing. So I actually have a new t-shirt on. But anyway, I decided what I would do is tackle this section of yard and make it look the way I wanted to. So everything from where the house juts out to the right is what I was really focusing on. And I think I'm going to do that more often, but I kept getting the weed whacker too close to the lights, but thankfully it would just kind of lift it where it joined, and I never actually ended up killing any of these lights that I like to use at nighttime or have for nighttime. So I'm getting things weed whacked, and I find you'll see me go over the same area more than once. I think I need my husband to check the little cord thing, but also it's like I don't see it. And then when I get beyond the spot, I'll look back and see that there's long sprigs that I either missed or the weed whacker didn't get. Like if I put the weed whacker on the ground, then it takes it up like there's no grass afterwards. Or if I put it too high, it doesn't really cut. So I was struggling a little with it. That's why I think my husband needs to check the little cord thing, because I've certainly run over things I shouldn't. It could be that. So on my way to Bible study, which is normally a 35-minute drive, I ran into construction. Of course, it's summer, so construction season. It ended up taking me an hour to get to my Bible study. I was 7 minutes late. I was so early, and I had gotten a text from my husband on the way saying I just used the last egg. So I thought, there's a grocery store on the way. I'll just stop in quick, get some eggs. So I did that because I was so early. I had a full hour to get there. And then, well, actually a little less than an hour, maybe like 50 minutes. So then I get caught because they're paving and traffic was so backed up that I end up late. But luckily, my friend Colleen, she's just a peach and she was fine with it. We ended up ending on time anyway. So it worked out wonderfully, but I knew I wasn't going to go home the same way again. I did not go to Old Navy. I decided because I needed to go through a neighboring city so that I wouldn't have to go through that construction again. So that put me out near Kohl's. So I ended up going to Kohl's. I won't show you in this video what I got. Well, obviously you'll see the t-shirt because I'm wearing it, but I'll show you the sundress that I got. I am super happy with it. So strange experience. The shirt I'm wearing today that I just got at Kohl's is a large. They had a bunch of graphic tees in the juniors department. So I got this one. I tried another one, and the large, it's in the sewn in label. And then I had tried an extra large that had the sewn in label of another design, and it was too small for me, but the large fit. Oh, look. Little wild strawberries. They're like teeny tiny. So I might pick them today and bring them in. I didn't do that, but as I was working, I kept seeing more and more. My garden that has hostas in it, I don't even know. It's just, they're not growing. It's very strange. And my cilantro is completely drowned. So my cilantro and then another pepper plant that I have, there's not enough. the sticks and pine cones just aren't doing it. They have to be in a pot with holes, so I got to get that. But here you are, seeing my gardens. Those are my daylilies. You just saw my bleeding hearts. My bleeding hearts have never lasted this long, but I have to say I've probably never taken as good care of them as I have this year. You can see that Mother Nature has put some pine spills down in the garden here from different storms and wind and all the things. So I decide I'm just going to go with it. That red bucket has some pine cones. So I'm picking up any pine cones that have fallen that are in good shape, putting them in the red bucket. Any little sticks or pine cones that wouldn't be good for crafting are going in the little fireplace for my next fire. I had put the bucket under the chair to keep the pine cones dry when it rained, and it worked. So that made me happy. So just getting things cleaned up before I start to rake. My husband didn't mow this area the last time he mowed. There's not a whole lot of grass here. It's always a challenge to grow grass, but I had noticed from last year that if I keep things raked up, a lot more grass grows because the grass doesn't like the pine spills. The pine spills are great mulch and they keep the grass from growing. But I don't want a ton of pine spills around the fire. That's just more fire hazard in my opinion. So what I'm trying to do this year is get the pine cones out of the areas I don't want them and put them in the areas I do for an inexpensive mulch because my gardening budget is spent. So now we need to get more creative for the yard. I had shared in another video that what I'm doing this summer and what I will do from here on out, at least until I'm tired of it and decide to do something else with my life, is I am trying to do the basics, the dishes, the laundry, picking up the house, that sort of thing. And then I'm specifically choosing one project area to do. So on this day, this was the project area. I really wanted to be outside. It felt like a beautiful day. And as I got working, I realized, okay, there's more humidity than I was giving the day credit for. And I was sweating up a storm. So you're going to see me make a little mess later that causes me to desire a shower. But I would have done it anyway because by the time I was done, I was just wringing wet and I don't sweat very easily at all. So that was kind of strange for me. So you can't really see the pine spills, but that's just one pile. I end up making two piles. So you can see there are a lot more pine spills on the ground than you can see. But ever since I decided, with you guys' encouragement, to go ahead and use pine spills for mulch, it doesn't bother me nearly as much, and I don't have to bag it up because I'm using it. So now every time I'm raking, I am just choosing where the pine spills are going to go, and it's very freeing on many levels, and it's also very pretty. The orange of the pine spills against the green of plants is actually quite beautiful. So it's allowing me to appreciate the beauty of what is falling from the sky literally for free. Another thing I will interject about Kohl's in case you are one who shops at Kohl's. I know people either love Kohl's or they hate it. It tends to work for me, especially in the dress department or finding cute t-shirts. But it's high price there unless things are on sale. And I don't know if it's this week only or why they were doing it. But when I walked in the store, they asked if I had a membership or whatever you call it when you give them your phone number. And I do. And so they were giving everybody a 25% off coupon. Now, I had gone in there expecting the summer clothes would already be on discount because once summer starts, it feels like whenever the season starts, they're already thinking of the next season. So I really thought they would be on discount, but they weren't. So the 25% off was actually super helpful. So there's something that if you are near Kohl's, you have some shopping to do, very good chance that you will get 25% off if you are a rewards member. That's what it's called, rewards member. It's the second shower day. I put the cilantro on the step and I put it down and went whoosh. Brand new t-shirt. Honestly, it wasn't just that it was water with mud, which it was, but when the water sits there like that, it gets kind of nasty. It smells nasty. It is nasty. So I'm going to try repotting the cilantro, but I honestly don't even know. It could be dead. I have noticed my family wasn't using it a whole lot, so it would not be a huge loss except that I bought the plant. Also, can we just talk about behind my white fence there? That is an area I really want to get under control and have it look nice. The generator is under cardboard with tires up against it. I think I might do logs instead of those tires. I'd like to get rid of the tires because just a little bit of standing water, and it does collect water in the bottom of the tire. Thousands of mosquitoes could be hatched out of the smallest amount of standing water. So I am not a big fan of using the tires at all. And I really want to reclaim that area of my yard and have it look pretty. So we have got to figure out what to do. We don't have a shed, where to put that generator. I had actually had a brand reach out to me. It was actually the one that gave me the deck box. They wanted me to take a shed, but it was during the winter. So I was like, I can't put a shed up with snow on the ground. So they said, okay, let us know in the spring when you're ready for it and we'll do it. So I let them know in the spring and they're like, oh, great, it's on its way. Never, didn't come, never got it. So that was kind of disappointing. Free shed. That's kind of where I am right now. I don't do paid sponsorships. For various reasons, but sometimes I will take something that is free as long as it's something I really want or something that is a really good price for you guys because I don't want to fill up my house with a bunch of stuff that I need to declutter later. So I tend not to be accepting things these days, but I'm a little sad about the shed because I was planning to put the generator in there. But I don't know if we need to get a doghouse or what for that generator, but we got to do something. So here I am spreading the mulch where I had the cilantro. I'm going to be bringing the cilantro in the house and repotting it. I might even keep it in the house. I don't know. I'll show you the pot that I'm going to use here in just a minute. I'm laying down this last bit of mulch and then I will show you what it's all looking like. See that? I think it's really pretty with the green. And so now all I need to do is water. And here is the pot I'm going to use. I had bought a plant that came in this black pot. It's got a good amount of holes, so we'll see how the cilantro does in that. I headed out back to do some watering. Some of the things I watered, I'd already watered that morning, but they looked dry. And I also am fertilizing, so that was another reason why I let them have a second drink. Just doing some fertilizing, which I feel like must be working because I am so much more successful in gardening this year than I ever have been like in years. I do have quite a bit of weeding so that I'll still be able to see those rocks on the ground that I kind of put in a wave pattern. I also want to get to a beach very soon and to get some shells to use to decorate in my garden. There is one of my lavender plants. There's another lavender plant. I'd like to get some more. I have tomatoes, cherry tomatoes that are starting to ripen. So very exciting. And I have peppers that are doing really, really well. My husband actually picked some peppers already, jalapeno and serrano, and I'm going to show you those here in just a moment. But everything is doing really well. We're eating salads out of the garden, and it's just wonderful. And I'm showing you some rosebuds that are coming in again. So that's very exciting to see because I just love it when they bloom. And then this one doesn't get a ton, the second rose bush, but there is one right there. I have some browning going on in the center of the plant. Not quite sure why. There's my chamomile. I never did rope it up, but it looks like it's ready for some tea. There's the peppers that Robin harvested, and I'm taking a break. I'm done. Look at all the projects I have to my right. I've got my pine cones. I've got spider plants that need to be planted. I try not to think about it because I can even get overwhelmed by the thought of the hobbies that I want to do during breaks. So what I'm doing is I had done some rock painting and I had made this alligator, I think it would be. I'll tell you later. But anyway, I didn't paint the back of his head. So I thought, okay, that would only take a few minutes. I'll paint the back of his head and then I'll go take a shower. So I have Michelle at my everyday wife life on, and she's cleaning her living room. So I am listening to her and watching her while I do a little painting to just relax for a few minutes before I go up and take my shower. And I am finding just to take a few minutes even to do something enjoyable really does make such a difference in my mood and how I feel. Just having those moments of quiet, of not talking to anyone, and just kind of getting into something that I enjoy. So this had been a few days where I had painted this and I really wanted to just get it finished up. So I was glad I did. And I only put a tiny bit of paint down at a time because you can always add more later. And I definitely don't want to be wasting my paint.
So my latest rock painting, I did this. It's either an alligator or a crocodile. I don't know which. And then I thought this would go nicely by the bench. And then I made a bird. And then one of you had suggested a rock for the bench area, and it says only God. That was a phrase one of you had suggested, so that's what I did.
Before first use, please season the griddle. If not done correctly, damage may incur or griddle and warranty voided. High heat on an unseasoned griddle may cause damage. How to clean and season a griddle. So you should probably get that on camera. Are you recording?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to have to cut that out and do what they're asking there. I can't use it right away.
Take a picture of it with your phone.
Yeah, I won't be able to use it right away. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. We have a large piece of styrofoam. Ta-da! Wow.
What can you do with that?
That was just cheese.
Hydroponic gardening.
That was just cheese. Ooh, we got one of those special tool things, right?
Oh yeah, scraper.
Yeah. The scraper,
Leo,
meat chopper.
Scissors. Leo wants to know what's happening
All that
here.
kind of stuff.
Look at him.
What are you
Look at
doing, man?
Like, is that supper?
Yeah. That is probably.
You doing crazy
That's
pants?
pretty nice.
I'm talking to Leo.
You can throw those away. Look at this, though. That's not bad.
Ooh.
Yeah. Nice looking. Alright, so
Ooh,
now we get to the meat of this thing. Oh my, that's heavy. Whew. Okay.
I guess I can't cook with with it. You'll have to do all the cooking.
Is that how that goes?
Kind of how it's been anyway. I don't grill much.
You're not huge on the
Lifting off
grilling,
that.
are you? Oh. Alright, so that's what it
What's the
looks
name of the thing Tyler got? The brand?
like. I'm not sure. His is like this, though.
No, his is the grill.
Yeah, his is the...
I was going to say
Right.
if you can't afford that because those are heckin' expensive.
Right. This one that you got is ball something here. What is it? Ballington. See that? Right on the end there. Ballington. Alright, so I have to season this. This basically just looks like somebody fabricated this with some serious steel. So it sits on the grill like that. And then you can-
Blackstone.
Yeah.
If you can't afford a Blackstone, because those grills are very expensive if you buy them new. Let's look. This was $75 and you can put it on top of your grill.
Yeah.
Blackstone.
So this just goes on a regular grill.
Grill.
It has a drain here, so like when you do have excess oil, fat, and all that, it can drain off. You can catch that.
Because a Blackstone, well, $177 at Walmart, which actually that's a good price. That's 17-inch. 36-inch at Walmart, $297. Tractor Supply, 36-inch, $350. Oh my goodness, $50 difference.
Man,
Or you can get a tabletop Blackstone for $109.
that's some serious
But
weight.
this is much less expensive. You just put it on top of the grill you already own.
Listen to this. Now, if you
can
get
make pizza on
ingenious,
this.
this is a you
Not tonight,
you
but-
could have a skateboard ramp.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could make pizza on that someday.
Oh yeah, we could. You just put it right in the air.
And now your hamburgers won't fall through the holes.
That's true when you're doing burgers. If you want them without the
You don't
grill
want the
marks
grill
and
marks.
stuff. Yeah. No, this is very nice. So now I've got to just read through the seasoning instructions.
I gotta go take a
It says 3 to 5 times you have to repeat that.
We're gonna do it right.
Oh yeah, I don't
That'd
want
be
this to be something
'Cause
where
we
we
can make
regret how we
Tortillas
treated
on
it.
that.
Yes, you can. We could make that's even better.
That's exciting.
Tortillas.
When I'm done with this, I'm gonna start dinner. It's only 4:15, but I want my soup to have time to simmer. My mother had a recipe called spaghetti soup that she made. It had Lipton chicken noodle soup, a can of diced tomatoes that she would blend completely puree. I don't blend mine anymore. And 3 handfuls of pasta, any pasta that you choose. And she told us that this replicated a soup she grew up on, but she told us that the soup she grew up on had hamburger in it. Well, you can imagine my grandfather came to the United States from Armenia when he was 3. So you can imagine our excitement when my daughter Rachel discovered a soup called Nunug, and I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's spelled Nunoug. That was an Armenian soup. And we realized this is the soup where my mother got her spaghetti soup. So it has become a favorite, and that's what I'm making tonight. We have made some adjustments to the recipe, so you could Google that recipe and kind of come up with what you like, or you could use it, make it the way we make it. So in place of hamburger, we're using ground turkey. So that's going to sit there and cool. All right, so I'm going to turn my pan on. I'm going to spray it with avocado oil. I'm sure that my grandfather's family would have used olive oil. But I always use avocado oil. And I see I should have got some of this. Oh no, there's another one. I'm saved. As I say, I should have got some of my groceries. I'm going to let that heat up. I'm going to, normally we would use like a 1/4 pound, but I had this package in the freezer. It's probably like a 1/2 pound. It's really about, you want to get the spices right, but honestly, it's really about how many people you're feeding. So I'm going to do about a cup of diced onions, which I'm using frozen just to make my life easy. You could saute some ahead of the turkey burger, just like when you're making a spaghetti sauce. You saute your onion, you add the burger, gonna measure this out so I can put this back. And the person that wrote the recipe said to use a wooden spoon to break up the burger. That makes my daughter nervous about raw meat on wood, so I'm not going to do that. All right, so I have onion, ground turkey, a can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas that I have drained. And you know, if they bother your stomach, it's probably the skin. So I used to just squeeze and take the skin off of each one when my daughter was having stomach issues, but it doesn't bother her anymore. But that's just food for thought. A can of diced tomatoes, and this is 14.5 ounces. We're going to use 2 cups of chicken broth, like a tablespoon and a half of minced garlic, although I gotta tell you, I always measure with my heart. And then hopefully she gave me some measurements on here. Where's my glasses? Oh, here's my glasses. I keep putting them in my pocket. No, she did not. All right, I'm going to go find out. Okay, let's start over, shall we? Usually you add butter at the end. It's a good thing I asked her. So just discount everything I already said. Okay, I'm going to start this. I'm actually going to start this all over. Okay. So we're going to saute in butter, and she uses vegan butter. And the person that wrote the recipe, they cook their burger, they cut it up, break it up with a wooden spoon. But Rachel was worried about using wood with raw meat. I have like a ½ pound of ground turkey. Normally we use like a ¼ pound, but I thought out a ½ pound, so that's what I am using. You know, it just depends on how many people you're feeding. And then I'm going to get this going and add, I'm using frozen minced onion because it's easier, and I have some. I thought I was going to use a whole cup, but I'm only using a 1/3 cup. She was like, I went up and I go, you didn't write the amount. She goes, yes, I did. Turn it over. So there it is. She's right. She did. All right. So let's add a 1/3 of this. I actually added more like a half. Okay, it's fine. How about if I put you so you can see my pan? I switched burners. Whoa, it's gonna fall. So that you can see what's going on here. So it'll take a minute for it to heat up. This also has pasta in it. So I am going to boil the pasta here. Normally you would put the pasta in the pot at the end and boil it, or maybe before the spinach. But we put it separately, that way if there's leftovers, you know how pasta will just take all the broth and absorb it, which is not good. And then if somebody wants to not have pasta, then they don't have to have pasta. So I'm just going to add a little salt to my water here. All right, this is coming alive now. So we're just sauteing and cooking up the turkey burger and the onions. I'm also going to add the garlic. I don't like to add garlic too soon because I don't want it to get bitter. Keep in mind, she had said, a ½ tablespoon of garlic. I said 1.5 tablespoons before. Okay, well, measuring with my heart, that's probably a little bit, wow, probably a little bit more. I'm so klutzy whenever I cook on camera. I don't know why. All right, Karen, slow down. Cover on this so that it will boil quicker. So it takes about 5 to 7 minutes to cook the burger through and to have the onions translucent. Okay, now we're doing 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. This allspice is the ticket. Oh, I also needed to get some fresh parsley. Mix that around, and then salt and pepper to taste. Just, you know, sprinkle it across.
Salt and pepper. Next, we're going to add the tomato paste and the diced tomatoes. So we're going to do 1 tablespoon of, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. I like to buy it in the tube, but my husband doesn't because the tomato paste, because it's expensive that way. But, I mean, we're doing a good job at using it now. But in the past, it's hung out in our refrigerator too long once the can is open. Okay, Rachel said that she thinks it's more full-bodied if you really let the tomato paste cook for a minute before adding the tomatoes, diced tomatoes, and then do the same thing with the diced tomatoes. So I don't know if it's because it gets a little caramelized, the tomato paste, or not. So she does that for 3 to 5 minutes. So now we're going to add the diced tomatoes. If your family's put off by pieces of tomatoes, you can blend it. I find blending it is different than buying crushed tomatoes. Okay, while that's cooking for its 3 to 5 minutes, I'm going to go out and cut us some parsley. I am going to be using the spinach as well. I mentioned in yesterday's video, I think, that I had this spinach. I had forgotten that's actually in the recipe, so I'll be putting the baby spinach in there. This is about 1 cup of baby spinach, but you use how much you want. I would say, I bet your kale will be really good, but I'm not going to deviate today. But I would love to put my fresh kale in there. All right, let's go out and get some parsley. I am so sold on fresh herbs. They are like the joy of life. Somebody tell me if I am harvesting this incorrectly. But I take the long pieces because over time they start to fold over. So whatever pieces are the tallest are what I take. And I don't know how far down to cut it. I guess I need to ask Google to help me with this. And I don't know how much, but I'm going to guess that much.
Do you want any help putting in ingredients away?
Sure.
Garlic or...
Should I put the garbanzos in already?
No. You put them in at the end because they're already cooked.
Okay.
Because they're canned.
All right, to this we're going to add 1.5 cups of chicken stock. And then we're actually going to add water. And then what I'm going to do is, at first, I'm only going to add, she said, to add, you know, to however much broth you want to have. I'm going to say 1 cup. I feel like I can always add more water, but too much water would be a bad thing. All right, so we're going to bring that to a boil. Once that is at a boil, we're going to reduce the heat and add the chickpeas, the spinach, the parsley, some lemon juice, just a splash. Yep, parsley to taste. Some people add dried or fresh mint. I'm not going to do that because I don't think I would like it. Then you serve it alone or with cheese. And you can add extra lemon and herbs if you feel the need. I was tempted toward oregano, but I didn't want to mess with the recipe. So while that's going, I'm going to cut the stems off my spinach. I already rinsed my parsley. There's my garbanzos, all drained. I'm not a big fan of stems, so I'm getting rid of the stems. I can just mix the parsley with the spinach here. We're going to be using gluten-free pasta, but you use whatever pasta you like. I find small pasta like elbows or shells to be optimal for something like this. Okay, came to a boil while I was answering comments because, you know, a large pot doesn't boil. So now we're going to put in our can of garbanzos and our spinach and parsley. Boop. Honestly, however much you want. So I'm going to reduce anyway. Kale, again, I think kale will be a great choice. Yep. Oh, a splash of lemon juice we're going to use. Of course, you could use fresh. I'm going to do whoop, squirt. I feel like I need to sneak a little salt in there. Okay. Now we're just going to let it simmer until dinner time. I want to eat at 5:30 and it's 5 now. So I'm going to let this just hang out for 10 minutes and then I'll drop the pasta. Meanwhile, I've got to clean up. Ouch.
That's a good enough amount.
Yeah, okay. I'll probably have a little bit of it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Case.
Should I do more?
I'll just do this like and then we need something to stir it with so it doesn't. That works.
I can turn it up now. I had it turned down so the water wouldn't boil away.
Oh, 20 or so minutes reading a book, surrounded by my plants on a gorgeous day in the lower 70s is going to just completely refresh me. Got the pine spills in here, or should I call it mulch? Oh, it's so nice out, and I just love getting to see all my serrano peppers. Oh my goodness, there are more than 10 growing here. And I have one jalapeno, or maybe 2 that are about ready to be picked. Maybe 3 actually. And then, oh my goodness, probably at least another 10 are gonna come off this plant. Pull those off. Oh, I love it. It's like sitting in a garden. This is your friendly, loving reminder from me to also choose to do some things in your day that fill your cup. Remember, as always, God loves you, and I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.